Okay, let's dive in. Picture this. It's morning. You're trying to get everyone out the door, and it's just, well, it feels less like a family and more like herding cats,
Well,
right?
absolutely. The breakfast battles, the I don't want to wear that, the endless requests before you've even had coffee.
Exactly. Or maybe it's bedtime. The routine drags on forever. The sibling fights suddenly erupt the minute the lights go off.
Been there.
I was reading the preface to this book we're looking at, 123 Magic, and there's this story about Sarah, a single mom. She literally dreaded her alarm clock because it meant starting another day of, well, battling her kid's behavior. Does that ring a bell for anyone listening?
I think it resonates with a lot of parents. That feeling of being constantly overwhelmed, always reacting, always stressed. It's
It
exhausting.
really is, and that's kind of what we're digging into today, this one, two,
hmm
three magic method. It pitches itself as this, like, straightforward, no-drama way to handle child discipline, almost a shortcut to a calmer house.
Right. And I like the way the book frames it. Parenting is sort of like a job. And like any job, a bit of training, knowing the techniques makes it easier.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not saying you need, years of study, just understanding a core method.
hmm Just some practical tools.
So that's our mission today, really, to unpack how 123 Magic aims for that calm, effective discipline.
Mhm.
We're talking about the power of counting, this idea of emotion-free parenting, which sounds intriguing, and why consistency is apparently everything.
And offering some real practical strategies to feel more in control, but without all the yelling and the guilt trips. More strategy, less drama.
Right. So let's start with the big one, the counting. It's central to this whole thing.
It is, but it's not just randomly saying numbers. There are these key rules attached to it, the no talking and no emotion rules.
Okay, unpack that. Does no emotion mean you become like a robot parent?
Not at all. It's specifically about managing negative emotion. The anger, the frustration, the exasperation, right in that moment of discipline. And no talking means cutting out the lectures, the long explanations, the arguing while you're trying to discipline.
Ah, okay. So keep it brief, because I can see how easy it is to get drawn into a long debate.
Totally. The book has this great example. A 4-year-old kicking off about a tablet. The parent starts counting, that's one, but then goes into this whole monologue, right? We talked about this. Why don't you listen? Look at me. Okay, that's two. One more chance.
Oh, yeah, I can picture that. It just escalates, doesn't it?
Exactly. It becomes what the book calls a parental temper tantrum. You're basically inviting an argument, and the kid's focus shifts from their behavior to the fight itself.
And the book says some kids would rather lose the toy than lose the argument.
Precisely. So the idea is maybe give one quick explanation the very first time something happens, if needed. Then it's just calm counting. That's one. Pause. That's two. No extra words, no visible anger.
It keeps you calmer and makes the boundary clearer for the child, maybe.
That's the theory. It removes the emotional fuel from the fire.
Okay. So why 3 counts? Why not 2 or 5?
The thinking is it gives the child two clear chances to stop and change their behavior. One is the warning, two is the final reminder, and three means a consequence follows, usually a short timeout or some alternative. It gives them a moment to choose.
Right. But kids test, don't they? What
Yeah.
about when you say, that's one, and they pull the innocent face? What did I do? Even when they know full well.
Yeah, the classic stall tactic. The book's advice is firm. Don't get sucked in. Don't re-explain. Just calmly say, that's two. You're redirecting back to the count, not the debate.
Okay. And if you hit 3, timeout. But it mentions timeout alternatives. What kind of things are we talking about?
Good question. Especially for older kids, alternatives can be useful. Things like losing dessert, an earlier bedtime, maybe losing screen time for a bit, or even doing an extra chore.
Like a small chore or something
Hmm.
bigger?
Could be either, depending on the situation. But the key is it needs to be fair and related if possible. It's about teaching, not revenge. Keep it reasonable.
Makes sense. Focus on the lesson. Now, the timeout itself. What if a little kid just refuses to go? Flat out says no.
For younger ones, the book suggests calmly, physically guiding them, gently take their hand, lead them to the spot. No big fuss, no lectures. Keep it quiet and neutral.
And older kids who resist.
Might be better to switch to an alternative then. Maybe offer a choice. Okay, it's either timeout or no tablet for an hour. Or just state the alternative consequence and disengage.
Okay. What about the escape artist? The kid who keeps coming out of their room during timeout. That can drive parents nuts.
Oh, yeah. Chasing them back and forth becomes a game, right? The book says avoid that. For little ones, maybe calmly blocking the door for a moment, or using a baby gate if appropriate, or simply restarting the timeout clock each time they come out.
Restarting the clock.
Or some people double the remaining time, though that might not work well for very young kids who don't get time concepts. The main thing is setting the limit calmly without a big power struggle.
Right. Avoid the chase scene. Okay, here's one I bet loads of parents have heard. The kid shrugs and goes, I don't care about the timeout. What then?
Yes. The book basically says don't buy it. They probably do care. They care that they've been removed from whatever they were doing. The interruption itself is often the effective part, even if they pretend indifferent.
Ah, good point. It's the stopping of the fun, not the sitting in the corner they hate.
Oh,
Okay, what about using this in public? Like with friends over or at grandma's?
yeah.
Feels awkward.
The advice is really clear. Be consistent. Don't change the rules just because someone else is watching. Kids pick up on that instantly.
So you just count anyway.
Yep. And if the child says, you're embarrassing me, the book suggests a calm reply like, if you don't want to be embarrassed, you can choose to behave. Puts the responsibility back on them.
Direct. And when timeout is over, but they refuse to come out, just stay put in their room.
The book says, kind of surprisingly, just relax. Let them have the extra quiet time if they want it. Go to the door, say time's up, and walk away. Don't coax. Don't extend the punishment. Stick to the plan.
Interesting. Okay, common one. You get on the phone and suddenly it's meltdown city. How do you manage that with counting?
Try to anticipate it, maybe. Get them settled in an activity before the call. If they do start acting up, a quick, quiet, that's one, might be enough without you needing to hang up.
Worth a try. What about more extreme reactions in timeout, like wrecking their room or, well, having an accident?
Yeah, those happen. For room wrecking, the advice is preventative. Child-proof the timeout space beforehand. Remove breakables, valuables. If they urinate deliberately, the book suggests moving the timeout location to the bathroom calmly.
To the bathroom. Wow. Okay. And those endless I need the potty requests from little ones just as you start counting.
Instead of asking, do you need to go, over and over, which can become a game, the book suggests a lighthearted comment like, wow, someday you'll surprise me and just go. Takes the power struggle out of it.
Shifts the focus. Okay, sibling squabbles. You hear yelling, but you didn't see who started it. Who gets counted?
The guideline is pretty sensible. If you didn't see it, you don't count it initially. If you hear it clearly escalating, you can step in then. Avoids playing judge when you don't have the full picture.
Got it. Now a sensitive one. Spanking. Does 1, 2, 3 magic incorporate that at all?
The book acknowledges people have different views, but it highlights research suggesting negative outcomes linked to physical discipline, like anxiety, aggression. Importantly, 1, 2, 3 magic itself doesn't use spanking. Its tools are the counting and the timeout alternatives.
Okay. And those heart-wrenching preschool drop-offs, the clinging, the tears.
Become a master of the quick exit is the advice. Quick kiss, clear statement about when you'll be back, and leave promptly. Lingering often just prolongs the upset.
Hard, but probably true. So last thing on counting. When is it not the right tool?
Good question. It's generally not advised if the behavior seems driven by genuine anxiety or fear rather than defiance. A kid truly scared of a thunderstorm needs comfort and reassurance, not counting. You address the underlying anxiety first.
Right. Understand the root cause. Okay, that makes sense. So moving on from counting, the other big piece is this emotion-free parenting during discipline.
Yeah, those no talking, no emotion rules apply broadly here. It's about managing our reactions when things get tense. Staying calm ourselves helps the child calm down and actually hear the boundary.
It's not about being cold all the time, just in those specific discipline moments.
Exactly. Plenty of warmth and affection at other times. But in the heat of the moment, getting emotional often leads to that cycle the book calls the talk, persuade, argue, yell, hit syndrome.
Oh, I recognize that slippery slope. You try reasoning, it doesn't work, you get frustrated, you argue, you yell.
Precisely. And it often stems from what the book calls the little adult assumption.
Ah, yes. Tell us about that.
It's the idea that we unconsciously expect kids, especially young ones, to think and reason like mini adults. The book uses this slightly provocative analogy. Think of yourself partly as a wild animal trainer.
Whoa. Okay, explain that before people get the wrong idea.
It's not about being nasty or controlling. It's just a metaphor to remind us that young kids often don't respond to pure logic the way adults do, especially when they're upset or defiant. Their brains are still developing those reasoning centers. Trying to have a logical debate mid-tantrum is usually pointless.
That reframes it significantly, so our own emotional reactions can actually backfire, make the behavior worse.
It seems so. If a child learns that screaming, for example, always gets a big, loud reaction from you, even a negative one, they might keep doing it for the attention or the sense of control it gives them. Your reaction becomes the reward in a weird way.
Okay, so how does this apply to full-blown temper tantrums?
The approach involves counting if there's disruptive behavior. For older kids, the suggestion is they stay in timeout until they're calm. For little ones, maybe 2 or 3 years old, it's often shorter timeouts, followed by ignoring the lingering tantrum afterwards, as long as they're safe. Crucially, don't give in to the demands of the tantrum.
And pouting, that passive-aggressive guilt trip.
Generally ignore it, unless it's what the book calls aggressive pouting, where they follow you around making sure you see how miserable they are. That becomes a behavior you can count.
Okay, what about lying? Is counting the way to go there?
Not usually as the first step. Lying is often seen as more serious, needing a direct talk about honesty. Plus, it often covers up something else. The advice is, don't overreact initially. Ask once. If you find out later they lied, address both the original issue and the lie.
And if you know they're lying?
Maybe state what you know calmly and give the consequence, rather than setting them up to lie again. The aim is to discourage lying without making them so scared they lie even more.
A tricky balance. Okay, so we've got counting, managing emotions. The third pillar is consistency. Seems obvious, but hard in practice.
So hard, but so crucial. There's a whole chapter called Staying Consistent. It's the bedrock. Kids need to know the rules and consequences are predictable every time. They will test to see if you mean it.
The book had that ice cream story, right? Where the dad actually turned the car around.
Yeah. He warned them. They hit count 3 in the car, and he followed through. No ice cream. They were mad.
Yeah.
But a week later, same situation. He said, that's one, and bam, instant good behavior. They knew he meant business.
Wow. It takes follow-through for them to believe it. And the book really warns against giving in to tantrums, even just once in a while.
Absolutely, because that one time teaches them that tantrums can work, which just makes them more likely in the future.
Right. Okay, so beyond stopping bad behavior, the book talks about regaining control more broadly, like understanding how kids test us.
Yes. It's normal for kids to test limits when they're frustrated. They don't like being told no or asked to do something they don't want to do. Their sort of unspoken deal is, stop frustrating me and I'll stop this behavior.
And there are common ways they test us, right? 6 tactics.
That's right. The book lists badgering the endless why, temper tantrums, yelling, screaming, ominous statements, threats like, I'll run away, butter up sudden niceness or promises, martyrdom crying, sulking, nobody loves me, and physical tactics, hitting, breaking things, more common in younger kids.
It's helpful to see them listed like that. You can almost tick them off. And giving in just empowers those tactics.
Exactly. It teaches the child that those behaviors work to get them what they want or out of what they don't want. The book has examples, Rita in the shopping cart, Michael teasing the dog, showing how parents initially reacted badly, then had more success using calm counting.
The book also makes this distinction between stop behavior and start behavior. What's the difference there?
Stop behaviors are things you want them to quit doing right now. Whining, hitting, interrupting. Counting is great for those. Start behaviors are things you want them to begin doing or do consistently. Homework, chores, getting ready on time. Those often need more than just counting.
So you tackle the stop stuff first.
Generally, yes. Get the immediate disruptive stuff under control with counting first. Motivating start behaviors often involves building habits, using routines, positive reinforcement. It's a bit more complex.
So what are some strategies for those start behaviors beyond counting?
A whole toolkit. Things like solid routines, same time, same place, same way, especially for homework or bedtime. Simple, clear requests. Kitchen timers can make tasks feel less daunting, like a race. There's also a docking system. Maybe they lose a small privilege if you have to do their chore. Natural consequences like being late if they don't get ready. Charts and rewards. Even a variation of counting for super short tasks.
Okay, let's take getting ready in the morning. How would that work?
Instead of nagging, maybe let the natural consequence happen. They might be late for the bus or school. You still manage any resulting tantrum with counting, but you let the consequence teach the lesson about time management.
What about the never-ending battle of picking up toys or clothes?
The book suggests the garbage bag routine. Set a time. Anything left out gets calmly collected in a bag and isn't available until, say, the next day. No lectures, just action. They learn quickly.
I can see that working. And chores.
Praise for little ones. For older kids, maybe family meetings to discuss chores so it feels collaborative. Charts help track things. And that docking system, again, if they don't do it, maybe they pay a small amount from pocket money or lose a privilege briefly.
Even supper time gets strategies, like timers and portion sizes.
Yeah, small portions can feel less overwhelming. A timer can encourage finishing within a reasonable time. Counting still applies for misbehavior at the table. There's also the 3 out of 4 rule for picky eaters: try 3 things to get dessert. Or even divide and conquer occasional separate meals if things are really tense.
Homework battles, big one for many families.
Routine is key. Avoid springing it on them. Same time, same place, ideally. Maybe snack, relax a bit, then homework before dinner. The book suggests a rough checkout around 8 p.m. if it's mostly done. Call it a night to avoid late-night fights. Charts with a reward for starting on time can work wonders, too.
And the nighttime wanderer, the kid who keeps ending up in your bed.
First, assume they might need the bathroom. Calmly escort them, minimal interaction, no bright lights. Then straight back to their own bed, tuck them in. Maybe sit quietly until they drift off if needed. Stay calm, stay boring. Exceptions for big storms, maybe.
It really seems like managing our expectations is a huge part of this whole approach.
Absolutely crucial. Expecting a 2-year-old to be perfectly potty trained or never to test boundaries sets everyone up for frustration. Understanding typical development helps avoid unnecessary conflict. Like with lying, knowing it's developmental helps you react more constructively.
And balancing that with being a good listener when they're trying to talk.
Yes. The book says discuss problems, counterattacks. If they're upset about something unrelated to your discipline, listen empathetically. Use openers, tell me more about that, to encourage them. But if they turn disrespectful towards you, that's when counting kicks back in. Know the difference.
So big picture, what's the ultimate goal here? Is it just obedience?
No, the long-term goals are really cooperation and independence. And enjoying your kids. The book stresses making time for play, building that positive connection, avoiding overparenting, involving them in problem-solving family meetings. One-on-one chats helps build those skills for life.
It makes sense, but let's be real. Parents aren't perfect. We're going to slip up, right? Forget the rules.
Totally expected. The book acknowledges that. Things like visitors, illness, travel, a new baby, they all throw routines off. Or just plain forgetfulness. And our own stress can make us revert to old habits. It's about getting back on track.
Okay, so wrapping this up, the core message of 1-2-3 Magic seems to be:
it's a pathway, really, a method to get to calmer, more effective discipline, using consistent counting, managing our own emotions in the moment, and using smart strategies for both stopping the behaviors you don't want and encouraging the ones you do.
And the aim is to feel more in control, but in a positive way. Less yelling, less guilt, fewer bribes. Just a clearer, calmer system for everyone.
Exactly. More peaceful family life. That's the goal.
Right. Okay, so here's a final thought for everyone listening. Think about one specific, maybe challenging time in your day. Could be mornings, dinner, homework, whatever. What would happen if you really committed, just in that one situation, to trying the no talking, no emotion rule while counting? Just focus on the calm count, minimal words, manage frustration. What difference might that one small shift make, even just tomorrow? Something to mull over. And the book mentions resources like a newsletter and a website, too, if you want to dig deeper.